This meeting is being recorded.
There we go. It is being recorded, everyone. So if you want the replay, we have it for you. Well, welcome to a very exciting Facebook Live Wednesday. We've got one of our clients who we've worked with in some varying degrees, Ilona, here with us. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, I mean, you had some great news to tell us like 2 or 3 weeks ago. You were so excited to break it to us. Actually, it was about 3 weeks ago at the beginning of this month, because you had just crossed over what was the $18,000 mark, and you're at that time you were completely solo. I mean, I don't even think you had any helpers or anything. No one taking any calls. No one helping you out with anything. So that's a big feat. $18,000 1 month. No one helping you out. I mean, how did you get there? Where did you start?
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning. I thought I could do this work solo is actually where the breaking point started. So I've been running a private practice for the past year and a half now, and about a year in, I was talking to a coworker of mine in a former agency job that helped me launch my private practice, and she told me the numbers that she hit in 21. And when I heard her number of, her gross salary, I was thinking, okay, I need that for 2022, because I certainly did not get that number. And I don't want to go another year thinking that I have what it takes to run a really successful business. So she said, well, I got a coach. And I was thinking, oh, I've never thought about getting a coach for my business. I just thought that you could teach me everything that I need to know and I'll be doing it well. And she's like, no, you need a lot more help to grow and succeed. So in January, I took her on. I took her on until March, and she helped me go through the basic foundational things like challenging my money mindset, which turned out to be very rooted in a poverty mindset. And I worked with her until I felt like I started capping out at about, I don't know, 8 to 10,000. So in March, I think I hit about 10,000. And in November, I had 2,500. So November, 2,500. In December, I hit 5. January was like 7. February was 8. In March, I hit 10. And then when I hit that point, she was going out of town for that time. And I was thinking, I need more help. I want to grow even more than I'm growing now. So that's when I saw your guys' Facebook ad saying that you can get like 5 to 10 new inquiries, like either a week or a month or something like that. And I was like, I need that. So I contacted you, and then Joshua reached out to me, and I was thinking, okay, this probably computer geek, this white, probably bearded, cringy man is going to call me. And I was actually going to cancel. I was going to cancel on Josh.
You never told me this. You were going to cancel. Oh gosh.
So then, Josh scheduled a appointment with me through like Calendly or something. And I was like, fine, I'm just going to show up to see what this thing is about. And when I saw Josh's face, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy looks like he knows what he's doing. And then when he started talking, I was like, he sounds like he knows what he's doing, right? Like very well kept, because I've seen a lot of ads up to this point, and no offense, but the people that put out some of the ads to do this high baller stuff, they don't look like high ballers. So I was like, oh shoot, Joshua's going to be another one of those weird looking people, but you're not. So thank you for looking so well kept, Joshua. Anyway.
Compliments.
Yes. So then after that, Joshua was saying all of these things like, what are your financial goals? What are your business goals? And I was like, well, the first thing I want to do is raise my rate, because I'm at, 125 right now, and I'm giving a bunch of people discounts. And I was like, this is not working for me, because I've got big dreams for 22. And I know that the only way I can get those dreams is I need more help. So he told me his spiel, and he won me over. And that was in January. But I was like, my life is too chaotic right now. Let me wait a couple months until things settle. So they settled in March, and I believe it was March 1st that I reached out to you. I want to say it was you, Attilio, and I said, "Hey, I'm ready to start this thing." And then you and I scheduled a phone call, and it's history from there.
Yeah, you said so much, and you said so many things that we could stop, take a look on, and I think a couple notes is all of the growth, and even some of the growth from March and on was it's fast, but it's also slow. So I guess from October, November of last year to today, do you feel like this has been a super fast process? Do you feel like this has been a slow process? How has it felt to you going at the speed you've gone?
I feel like it was very fast in some ways. Like once I started applying the things that you guys told me to do, it was very fast. But also some of the good pieces have been perfectly slow as far as I'll never forget you said, Ilona, if I were to hand you 1,000 new followers today, like you want, or 10,000 new followers like you want, what would you even do with them? And I was like, shoot, you're right. Like, I guess I can't grow as fast as I want, right? Because my system is not set in place as far as group practice or whatever is concerned, automations are concerned, to be able to scale to that level. So in those cases, it's been perfectly slow to help me catch up and build up a really good system, like hiring people on to be able to help me automate those things and receive the support to be able to take on more clients anyway.
Yeah, and I want to zoom in onto one function before we talk about the raising of rates and what you've really done since March to see some of that really next level stuff. But I know there's a number of practice owners who were right there where you were, where they haven't even had their first 5K month, their first 8K month, some of those things of just like getting enough on the playing field to have a business that you're making money from, much less thriving and hitting bigger goals. What would be the advice or recommendation? And this was even before you started to work with us, that you were doing at the first part of the year and the beginning or the end of last year that felt like started to build the momentum to get you to where you are?
Yeah. My biggest advice is invest money into your business. And the greatest investment you can do is actually getting a coach. And I'm saying that to the people that are not with you guys, the people that are here in your guys' group, please get into those coaching calls, because that is what personally revolutionized my work from going to truly 2.5 grand to 18 grand a month. It's insane. But if I wasn't showing up consistently with you guys, if I wouldn't trust you with leading me in this, I don't think I'd be here at all. I'd still be coasting about what, 8 to 10 grand. But I mean, now that I know that I can make way more than that, and even more than I'm making now, like with my new rate, we'll get there. But it's insane the kind of possibilities that are available. But I had to reach out for help first.
I remember actually when you first came to us, I think you worked with us for like a month, maybe like a month or 2 months, and you had shown up to like one call, but you never like consistently showed up. And then something changed maybe in you, or something changed that you literally consistently started showing up, bringing a whole new kind of energy, bringing a whole different kind of commitment to yourself, and commitment to the program, and commitment across the board. Really, do you remember what changed in you, or did anything change, or did you just like, hey, I'm just gonna show up one of these days a couple of times extra?
I think the changes have been happening to me in those 5 areas of wealth that you taught me about. They changed on a spiritual level, relational level, physical level, emotional, and financial. So every aspect of my life has changed in these last 6 months that were not here in the past 29 years of my life. So this area of growth financially is just one area that reflects everything else that has been transformed. And I told my husband that yesterday. I was like, you know what? if I wasn't showing up with you guys consistently, I wasn't showing up to my gym consistently, in my faith, in my relationship consistently. So when I started doing that with you guys, what, 4 times a week now, I show up to the coaching calls.
Pretty
I'm
much.
showing up like that. Actually, I probably show up to you most consistently, but church and gym and marriage and everything else, I'm showing up as consistently as I am here.
Yeah, that's a big.
And if-
I want to ask you maybe 2 questions really quick back to back, so that way everyone can kind of get the frame. Josh, if it's okay, if I, what does your life look like right now? Like you're sitting, you have a consistent flow of business. You know where your next clients are coming from. You have a good amount of cash that's coming into the practice.
Yeah.
Like what does your life look like? What does your time look like? Like, are you breaking your back to get to this number? Or like, what does it look like right now?
No, I'm not breaking my back the way I was 6 months ago. This new season of my life is not so desperate. It's actually more peaceful than it's ever been, especially this month of July. That's something else I was reflecting on yesterday is this has actually been my most peaceful month, but equally successful month. Because I've got my helpers on board. I've got my faith on board. My physical health is in top-notch shape. I mean, I'm going to the gym 3 times a week. I'm now fasting 2 times a week. I'm going to church twice a week. I'm serving in church. I'm serving my community more than I have been. My mental health is fantastic. My emotional health is very stable. My self-worth is very confident compared to even probably 2, 3 months ago where I was still rising up, but the mental chaos was there because I know Joshua many times told me, Ilona, too many shiny objects, stop and just focus on 1, 2 things tops right now. And I had to do that over and over and over again. And right now it feels like my life is compartmentalized. Everything is on my schedule. I'm collabing more often because I have time to do that, right? So my life is very rich and it's so fulfilling.
Wow. What a thing to celebrate and what a thing to just sit in. And I think sometimes, it doesn't matter who's seeing the success or the process, but like envy and jealousy and comparison, even more so of like, why that, why this, why whatever. If you're like listening to this in this process, one, it's just amazing to be able to celebrate Ilona and the process and the life that she's built and the practice, because the one thing that I'm picking apart from this is something changed, and regardless of knowledge you implemented or things you implemented, you started doing, you started showing up, whether it was to calls or to your business or to your work. And that's the thing that I think has impressed Attilio and I a lot is something shifted. And so you have executed, you have done the stuff at a very high level and with a lot of commitment. And all of this has unfolded as a result. And that's something to celebrate and to learn from, because the commitment to the process and just doing the doing has unlocked so many more doors for you.
Absolutely. And I mean, Attilio and I were on a coaching call yesterday, and I was the only one that showed up, but it worked out perfectly because he invested everything he knew about the next season of my life, which is actually to scale and to go into courses. Because in this last season up to this point, what I've felt like is, okay, I'm equipped with so much and I want to give that away beyond one-on-ones. But once again, new challenges started rising up that are not so new. It's that mental limitation stuff that I said, hey, Joshua, send me all the replays because I need to eat more stuff of everything we've already practiced. But even then, Attilio is like, Ilona, I've loaded you up with everything you need to know. So start eating this. And it's another encouragement I have. Guys, your potential is tremendous. Don't limit yourself to the comfort zone that you're in right now. Perfect that and scale that even more. And these two men right here know exactly how to make that happen. I mean, we're talking, okay, I came in saying I want 6 figures. And now you're saying, Ilona, don't just stop there. Let's build more and more. Let's go 7 figures. And then when Joshua posted about 8 figures, I'm thinking, no freaking way. I want that. So you guys have inspired me. You have personally developed me into what I have become. If you wouldn't have believed in me, I wouldn't be sitting before you right now testifying about this. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'd say that that's very, very generous, because it's, and we appreciate that, and but also very generous because from the other side, as you've done these certain things, like
Yeah.
you're the one that's headed head first in some of these limiting beliefs and headed, straight into some of these restrictions, and you've accepted the discomfort. And sometimes, like, you've gone and done something that I'm like, wow, she like when did X, Y, and Z, and like look how it came about. And there's two things that come to mind is like luck is when opportunity meets circumstance, but you have to the people who show up more consistently get lucky more often, because the opportunity and the circumstances are lining up together, which is great. And I think there's a lot of that. There's a lot of serendipity into your story, but there's so much work of what you've put in. And I want to zone on two quick pieces. Number one is that money mindset piece. What did it take for you to be able to change your rate from 125 to 200 to 250, and then now to like that 350 mark? What was that process like for you? Because if we're being honest here, you're seeing the same amount of clients as a lot of other clinicians are seeing, but you're collecting more cash because of the rates you're charging, which is great and phenomenal and has worked for you. But what has that rate increase looked like as a cash pay therapist as you've made it happen?
Yeah. Oh man, that's a loaded question. Actually, it started when you guys were honest with me. When you were honest in your rates, I learn most from when people say, hey, I've done it and you can too. When you guys told me that you charge 1,000, 2,000 bucks per hour as business owners, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness. The first thing that came to mind was how could they? But then knowing how much value you bring to the table every day tells me, oh, you guys are worth that and so much more. And you instilled that same belief in me. Ilona, you're worth that and so much more. So when I came to you at 125, 150, and you're saying, is that what you want to stay at? I'm thinking, no, that's not what I want to stay at. But that's what I told myself I'm valued at.
Yeah.
Right. So for you guys to share a little bit of vulnerability and say, hey, you could charge way more than that. You just got to believe in yourself. I was thinking, there's no way anyone's going to pay, but I took the risk. And then I started charging 250 in March. So I came to you in January. I was not ready for it until March. In March, as soon as I started with you, I raised my rate. And then I knocked it back down. And then you said, wait, you can't do that. You can't raise it and knock it back down. So that was the process, right? So then I kept it.
Did you knock it down out of fear? Did you knock it down? Why did you
Yes.
knock it back down? Out of
Oh
fear?
my gosh, out of fear for sure. A lot of things I was driven by up to this point was fear. So I knocked it back down. And then just one day, you guys told me, just keep it and see what happens. I kept it. And I think that week I booked 3 250s. And I was like, oh, this works. This works. And then I kept it for 250 until July 1st. And then that was, I think, around the time, Atilia, when I had a conversation with you about my courses, and you're like, Ilona, I charge 1,000 bucks. What's 250? It's just a matter of time until you raise it. And I was like, dude, you're right. So let me raise it again. So July 1st, I went to 350, and I booked 3 people this month at that rate, even though I had several other phone calls where people are like, hey, I can't pay you that. Can I pay you less? So I booked other people at 250 anyway. But that goes to say that that value ladder, it goes up, and then sure, you backslide a couple of steps and then you get back up again. And now I confidently have that conversation of my value is 350 and I bring even more to the table. You take it and leave it at whatever you want, but I know that the life-changing results I'm going to give you are worth way more than this. And then, like you said, in December 1st or January 1st, I'm going to raise it to 500 anyway. It's just like I want to continue to grow because my value continues to grow in the results that I give clients of transformational lives.
Yeah. And do you
Yeah.
feel like that rate has almost been a healthy boundary for you that you've finally been able to feel and set? What has it felt like, since you're nodding yes, to feel like there's a different sort of boundary around the type of people who work with you and the type of people who you say yes to and they say yes to you?
Yeah. It has brought in a completely different clientele. One example is that I actually see a husband and wife individually, and they pay my old rate of 250. And these guys have produced results I have truly not seen in any other client before them. They show up every single week consistently. So they're paying me $500 a week between the both of them. And the kind of work that they do is revolutionary. And I tell them every single week, I'm so thankful that you're still here and the progress that you're making is tremendous. And they're like, you say that every week. And I'm like, I'm truly seeing results happen every single week, right? So that's the same kind of value I now bring to my 350s is I want to change your life so drastically that you don't even have to stay with me for 10 sessions or whatever. If you want to, great, but I want your life to transform for you to be able to get in and get out and have a life changed. You don't have to stay with me for 10 years. I mean, that's not what you're signing up for here. Sign up, meet your goals, and go and continue to live your life.
Yeah. I truly believe, and I've heard this from so many people, you never like reflect on it until it's like happening. But I truly believe that like actually running a business, running a practice in this capacity really is a reflection of you, the leader. It's really truly a reflection of your abundance and how abundant you are across. I mean, you mentioned them, the five levels of wealth. Like, how abundant can you be in those areas? How consistent can you be in those areas? And then you, like, the reflection is what actually is coming in for your practice. And so I think you're setting yourself up phenomenally. I do not want to disregard the work. I mean, you guys heard it, whoever's listening in here. I mean, she shows up regularly. Ilona is consistently understanding the information that is being presented, going through a feedback loop, and executing until it improves. And really, that's I think the biggest secret. Like, when you were having trouble with your rates, you came to us for salesmanship. When you were having trouble getting new clientele, you came to us for information about how to work your social media platform better. And this new season, we were even food slapping at one point, where you were like, I want to get into a course. And I think you were at like $10,000 or $12,000. And we were like, not yet. Hold on. And you waited 2 or 3 months before you did it and before you pulled the trigger. And now we gave you the okay to start moving into that field. And you're running after that, pursuing that relentlessly.
Right.
Yeah. I think so, one of the questions some of these people, as they're watching this, is they're probably saying, wow, how do I find clients at that rate? How do I whatever? So to kind of cut the time here in a straightforward way, most of your clients at that rate specifically, not all of them, but many of them have come from social media in the last 8 to 12 weeks, especially, right? And I know that's something that you've gone the route of posting anywhere from 2 to 5 times a day, especially on Instagram, on Facebook, and then now even on TikTok here. And I know that there are certain strategies you've picked up and processed. 2 questions for you. What advice would you have for someone who's first getting into trying to make social media as a client source? What advice would you have for them? And the other big piece, which is also just an advice piece, how have you stayed consistent? Because that's really hard for so many people, is staying consistent with that amount of social media posting. And I've heard you talk about it, and you've said that it's not easy. So like, what advice and how have you stayed consistent?
Yeah. So biggest advice is just build value. Even if it's something simple like that, Twitter post or whatever on Canva, just give people something to eat throughout the day. And you guys told me that. So what you taught me was figure out 10 values, or how much ever values you give yourself, a number of the posts that you want to consistently present to people. And that's it. It doesn't have to be a big window. You don't have to be an expert over everything. Just find things that you love and build value on that. So that's my biggest advice. How do I stay consistent? It's tough, because in the beginning, when you guys gave me that challenge, I was like, there's no way I could do that. I mean, that's going to consume all of me. But I just started doing it little by little every day. So I was already posting once a day before I met you. And then when you told me to churn it up and go to 5 times a day, I was thinking, okay, that sounds like a little too much right now, but I'm going to try 2 times a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day. And then it got to the point where I built up this system. I batched content so much that it became easy. It took me probably an hour to put up 5 posts on 3 platforms. And then even then I hired out help, and that was quick now because we built up a system there. But just batching content was huge. I pre-record videos and then we cut them up into little bite-sized pieces. We're not talking 10-minute videos, 10-minute videos. No one's going to eat that. Do like 1-minute clips, 30-minute or 30-second clips, even small things, different types of stuff. So I post my workouts. I post, the head videos like you're saying, post things, collabs or things with my husband. And all of those different kinds of informations hit different people. And I started doing that. And now my husband has helped me with that. And it makes things easy. And even then, I realize sometimes it's exhausting to post 5 times a day, like if I'm, on a weekend or something. So I just post 1 time a day, understanding that day I'm going to get a little bit less feedback. But then the next day I try to boost it up again. And that brings people in. So I definitely noticed, hands down, when I post 5 times a day, my DM inbox blows up effortlessly. 5 times a day, expect big results, So if you want big results, you got to put in the big stuff. And even then, you guys told me 5 to 10 minimum. So I'm not even doing the max. I'm not even doing the 10. If you're doing 10, trust me, your inbox will be jam-packed with potential clients.
I want to zoom in just a little bit more there. How long were you posting 5 times a day before you started seeing some real results?
Not long.
So how long, so it was pretty quick. You started posting 5 times a day. So you really kicked it up. Soon after, you started getting a lot of inquiries through your inbox. And now you're posting about 5 times a day. In the span of like a month, how many new inquiries would you say that you get doing this strategy?
Oh my gosh.
I know you told me yesterday that you did like 6 or 7 intakes in a week. So you're having a lot of conversations. Yeah.
A week. So 4 weeks, I mean, I want to say at least 30 new inquiries coming in a week. And even then, some of those, like especially through my website, If I reach out to them, some of them I don't hear back from. My favorite place is truly Instagram and Facebook because it's truly direct message. Um, Gosh, we're having a lot of conversations at this point, to the point where I can't be there for all of them, and my helpers are doing the conversations for me. I'm just doing the phone calls right now still, because you guys told me let that be one of the last things that you um off
Delegate.
offshore or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is no shortage of clients when you're posting and building that much value. So if I can give any piece of advice to someone that's starting from scratch and wants especially cash clients, which I highly recommend, um, build value, 5 posts a day, 5 posts a day on Instagram and Facebook. Show up consistently every single day, post that much value, and it's just a matter of time before it picks up.
And I think what's crazy is you don't have massive followings, right? I just pulled up your Instagram and you have like 1,600 followers. I think you have
Yeah.
100 followers on TikTok. I don't know what your
Yeah.
Facebook looks like.
Yeah.
Because people can see your content without them being like an active follower. But if you have a very specific, niche and process, and you're providing a lot of value in a specific context, then those people are very obviously and clearly responding to you and being discovered through that process. And it's not tens of thousands of people who are in that process. So it's so exciting to hear that. As we kind of wrap up our time together, if you're watching this live for us, feel free to drop questions or comments for Ilona while we wrap up here. If you have anything that you want her to answer now or even after the fact, tell us a little bit about some of the dreams you have for what's next. What are you excited about? What are you working on? Where are you headed?
My biggest dream right now that is becoming a reality as we speak is to build up courses next. Um, I want to be so scaled and automated that I no longer have to trade my time for money, which is something that you guys taught me, which was unbelievable 6 months ago. I thought I would have to do one-on-ones until I retire, which, everyone retires at 75 these days. So I was like, okay, be prepared for burnout for the next 30 years. But just having this new dream come to reality of, I built up a Facebook group, which has a really beautiful and powerful following at this point. And after that, gosh, I don't know. You guys will have to tell me the third shiny object that I'm going to need to be pursuing. So I'm not going to think about that third one, but just, gosh, come winter, we want to take a lot more time off and potentially buy a second property where we don't have to stay in Idaho for the brutal winter months. So that would be excitement piece number 2. So courses are what I'm eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner right now. And then after that, um, make it so big and powerful that it can run itself. And then where I could just relax for a little bit until you guys teach me the next thing that I could be doing. So, yeah.
We'll see if it's that. We'll see if it's something else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Thank you for the commitment. Thank you for really coming in and giving it your all. I have some goals that I'll project on you here as soon as we hop in our next call, because I know exactly where you're going next. And thank you for trusting us with the 10%. And thank you for doing the 90%. So maybe when you get to 30K, we'll send you a little trophy too, so that way you can show it off. That'll be a big milestone for you. That'll be a big milestone for you.
Oh, possible. I'm excited. That's actually my next financial goal that I'm trying to meet, because it is so possible after what happened last month. I'm thinking, my goodness, if I keep this up, if I keep this up, that's where we're going next. So thank you. I told you yesterday in our coaching call, thank you doesn't begin to describe the gratitude I have for you both. And even my husband and I were praying for you guys last night. Like, Lord, thank you for sending me these two men that believed in me so much. Like, I was just one of the many callers that showed up. And then and you guys just kept pouring into me, and I'm thankful because you saw that value in me that 6 months ago I couldn't see, so thank you for everything that um that the amount in my bank will never even begin to show because my life is showing it across the board.
100%.
I love that.
Well, such a pleasure. And if you guys are watching the recording after the fact and you have questions about some of the strategies or processes, feel free to go into the Facebook group and ask questions about social posting, ask questions about raising the rate, ask questions about the seeds that Ilona planted that kind of helped her along her journey, because we know you need more information on that. And we're more than willing, just even in that Facebook group, to try and share the feedback and the process and go a little bit deeper. There's so much here in a conversation like this. And maybe we'll do a part 2 when you hit 30K a month. How does that sound?
I'm excited. Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Awesome.
cheers, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.